All right, part 6. So I am done with the videos, sending them every day because the second bipolar episode happens. Now I get fired or let go because maybe they think it's too much mental stress or whatever. I get let go, but I'm trying to find a new job. The first job after that, I want to say, was a sales job that I remember. I tried to get solar, which was another sales job. And this was a sales job that I just left, but I tried to work for solar and it didn't work. I don't know if that was before or after like the 8-month jobs where I didn't get paid, but the sales job for solar didn't work. And I'm not living in my car at this time. I'm about to be. And the sales job for solar, and when I say I got a car, it was a brand new Toyota Prius at the time. All white, pearl white was the official name. 2017. I wanted the red one, but I couldn't get it at the time because I wanted to do it right before Christmas and move out right before Christmas as a present for my mom because I felt like she'd be excited, which she was, so I wasn't wrong. And but I felt like that's what she wanted based off of her excitement as well. Kind of confirmed it. So brand new car, so any reliability issues of like, it being on for too long or it's going through the winter surviving, I never had those thoughts because it was a brand new car and I didn't have those issues. Spoiler alert. Which is why I was able to live in my car as long as I'm going to tell you in these parts. I got so many so many stories. So I had the solar job, and this was probably the worst onboarding process ever because I had to do a lot of the onboarding at home, and it worked, and it was very again, I won't give company names. It was very like meticulous and detailed, and like I had to pass the test or whatever, which is fine because the solar is complicated. There was a script and everything, but I had to buy my own permit to sell in different areas, neighborhoods, which I did, and I think it was $50, 25 or $50, which was fine. So I was like, I'm gonna get money, but this was door to door. I've never done door to door. The job that is after this, I got no payment, but it was door to door. So I learned way more there than this because this was probably like a month or two. I want to say it was a month of trying to figure this out. And they paired me up with a salesperson, like a salesperson that goes to door. And he wasn't part of the onboarding process. He was cool, but I shadowed him. So I'm kind of standing back or whatever. And he's kind of trying to give me pointers, but he goes off script. And he says, I go off script. Everybody goes a little off script, which I learned now in sales that's just how it is. Some salespeople, I'm sure, like, you better can't go off script. I'm sure that's probably more for phone calls, especially over the phone sales, which I tried to. But I like in-person sales. So that one was horrible because I think I went out with him maybe for a day or two. And like after the first or second day, like we had smoked weed together, and then the company wasn't really calling me. And then when I called them, they're like, because I'm looking like, hey, when can I go out? And they're like, well, I thought you quit. Like, I thought you weren't going to come back. I'm like, you're supposed to be training me. So I was like, fuck it. If they think I quit, I'm out. Because clearly it shows that they didn't really care like that. So the next sales job, again, I won't name companies. This was a door-to-door company. And this was for like roofing insurance. Didn't get paid for 8 months, says a lot. But when I got hired, I had to go in the city in Chicago for both of the jobs, the solar one and for this one. Excuse me. I got hired and I had to go in the city. The sales guy or the boss that we had at the time, or my sales boss, was so cool. He seemed really friendly, but I determined his criteria for hiring people, at least at this time. The question that he had asked me, I didn't know immediately. Once I got into the job, he had said it verbally, not the criteria from hiring people, but he had spoke on the question that he had asked. Question that he asked, like, did you play any sports growing up or in high school? Like, were you on a team or whatever? And even though it wasn't really a team sport, I told him I did swimming. And I guess swimming, like when you do the relays or whatever, like you have a team that you practice around with. Yes, it is still an individual sport in my eyes because you're not like on the field together or you're like, hey, you're going to go here, you're going to here, other than a relay. Like you're going to be in the first heat, the second heat, whatever. Other than that, I didn't feel like it was super team like. Especially since I was like the only black person in the swim team. I had eventually changed to diving, and then there was another black person. But I digress. He had asked me that, and we kind of like, I could tell he was really interested in that. We had, a really quick back and forth about it, like rapport. He's like, oh, okay, like, okay, swimming, that's interesting, whatever. Told me he played sports or whatever. So when we got hired, or, when he had hired everyone, we were going to the office, he had like got us all together, and he's like, a lot of you have played sports, and in sales, it's great to be like, I found that a lot of people that I coach and train, people that play sports, they do better because they have that self initiative, that self drive. They're proactive. They don't have like an external like motivation. They have that inner motivation or whatever, which I thought was interesting. I had never heard someone like put it that way. And because it was a lot of younger guys. The first place I went to was much older range. Like when I had my first and second bipolar episodes that I got fired from, that sales job, the salespeople were much older. This one, it was a lot of younger guys. So a lot of us there was a few females. Most of them had kind of worked in the office for this company. But it was a lot. So the roofing was a whole different beast. And not because I didn't get paid for 8 months alone. Just trying to even make a sale was a whole different beast. I thank God had this guy who not immediately asked me to like, partner up with him or like be cool with or whatever and like, make sales together. It was early on though, like within a few days or maybe the first day or whatever, but just not immediately. He had messaged me, and this dude was cool as fuck because he did solar and he was a fucking savage. He would say it all the time. He was really into church and everything like that. He had shown me this like this Facebook Live of like the Elevation Worship Church where they preach about God. He's like, I watch this every Sunday or whatever. And he had also smoked weed too. This guy was cool as fuck. Not the Elevation Worship Church, the guy that was helping me with the sales. And he told me that he had knocked doors in the winter solar. I'm like, in the winter? He's like, yeah, when there's no sun, clouds, and when I'm selling solar. And he's like, I made fucking sales because I'm a fucking savage. I was like, okay. Like when you talk about confidence, and he was like watching me at the doors and stuff like that. And he's like, I want you to do this. Just say this. When they say this, say this. And I'm like, all right, man. And he's like, no, like you're good. Like when I was first starting off, he's like, you're better than when I was first starting off. I promise you. He's like, I was so quiet at the doors. He's like, I only got like through this because I was determined to get through this, and I'm a fucking savage now. He's like, you can get better. You're gonna get better. I was like, okay. So I did get better. I was able to work more. I didn't do it consistently. It was much more early on before I found out that I wasn't really getting paid as soon as I thought, because a lot of people were getting upset that they weren't getting paid like that. At one point I had knocked, I want to say over 100 doors in a day. And the boss that hired me was really proud. He's like, Chris knocked over 100 doors yesterday. You can refine your script or, get really good at talking to people, or it's a numbers game. You can just knock until you hit that one. So hit 50 doors, you get the sale. Hit another 50, you get another sale. That's 2 sales a day because you put in the work. Like there's a whole different mindset for sales. You can be really potent in how your delivery is and how you're talking, and you're catering this one customer and you get the sale, or you're saying, fuck it. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? And on the fucking 20th one, you get one. You know what I mean? Like it's either all in, but there's no risk without reward. There's no risk without gain. So that's why I like sales. What else? Yeah, I learned a lot from this guy. He helped me out a lot. It was 30 days or 45 days, they said, to the process where you sign someone up, get their information so we can do the roof inspection, go through their insurance, and you get paid. It's a 30-day process. After that 30 days hits, people are starting to ask questions. And our boss asked his boss, because we saw the president of the company, like, hey, okay. So it's actually 30 to 45 days. Okay, guys, you hear that? 30 to 40, as if like he shouldn't be taking like, oh, that's my bad because I told him. Like, no. Because, I mean, I guess we could have bitched and he'd be like, guys, like, I make mistakes. Or, like, he was a cool dude. So I didn't really want to, like, bitch him out the first time I heard that. I really didn't. I was like, okay, we all make mistakes, and if I'm getting the type of commission that I should be getting, then okay. And I wasn't great at this at all. The person who, like, when I said knock 100 doors a day, the person that was doing it, there'd be days, because as we got like way later, because we were so demotivated, that he was looking for other jobs, and I was like, bro, I gotta make this work, bro. It was getting close to winter time. He'd knock maybe 6 doors in a day and get 2, 3 sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, he was that fucking of a savage, but like, he was just so good that I feel like he didn't apply himself that much, because he's like, oh, if I really applied, I can get it. And it showed, bro. Like, if I knocked 100 doors a day and he only knocked 5, I guarantee you in 7 days, if I knocked 100 doors in 7 days, if he only knocked 5 each day, he'd have more sales every single week. That's how good he was. And if he had knocked 100, like, he would have skyrocketed through the company. They would have done what they, there was this specific salesperson, and he asked me about it. He's like, what do you think about that? And I was like, I think they did that for show. Like, he's like, you think it's for, I was like, no, it's a real check, but I think they did that for show. And I'll explain why right now. So there was a guy who I actually went on this, before, I can't say the names. So before the Savage dude, there was another dude who was like in his 40s, and he was from New York, and who knew our sales boss. And I was so, what do you call it? I was such a newbie at the door knocking thing from like the month of solar. Again, I don't even know if that happened before or after this job, the 8 months of me not getting paid, but I was such a newbie. And I had wear the button up and everything, and this guy was in a polo. I had like the slacks and like the dress shoes. This guy was in jeans and sneakers, and he's smoking a cigarette, and we're getting in his truck for a ride along, because he's been doing sales for like 20 years. He has a family back in New York and everything. He was a cool dude, straightforward. He wasn't fake, wasn't politically correct. He was like, no, I'm gonna tell it to you how it is. So I get in his truck in the passenger side to go on the ride along with him to see how he is and, shadow him. Before he even gets in the truck, he lights a cigarette. He's like, hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to loosen up. You're too stiff. Didn't even see me out knocking doors at all, but just how I carried myself. He's like, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to loosen up. You are too stiff. I'm sitting in his car and he's telling me this. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to calm down now, because I'm thinking, I'm just like, gotta be professional. And he's like, man, you're fucking me up right now. But he was cool. He didn't say it with no disrespect at all. He was not a disrespectful person. But just hearing that, it threw me off, because I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know how to be comfortable when it comes to making money. I really don't. I watch YouTube videos or whatever, but I'm like, they're all over the place. They're, if they were diagnosed with the bipolar or whatever, they're like, you need to be down here. You're a YouTuber. You can't be like, I'm not gonna get no views if, you know what I mean? Like, they'd be fighting back with the nurses, but I was like, nah, I won't fight back. So he's like, you're too stiff. You need to loosen the fuck up. Like, calm down. I was like, okay. So I'm on the ride along. I'm learning a lot from him. But then when I get to the Savage, I learn even more, because he's closer to my age, and he was cool as fuck. The weirdest thing though, he didn't really listen to music, which threw me off. He said his favorite genre was country music if he listens to music, but he didn't listen to music. I was like, no rock, no rap, no R&B. No. He's like, nah, he play some country. Like, the 2 times that I let him play country, I was upset, bro. I was upset. Like, we were going to drive to smoke weed somewhere in the city, because he had lived in the city at the time. But I don't like country, bro. Hate that shit. So he's teaching me, dropping gems. There was even a time where we're in the after we had been out for some while, and we keep getting pushed back, and we're getting draw or whatever. I'm gonna tell you about that check thing, but we keep getting pushed back in the draw or whatever, because with draw, you this is what you owe me, but we're just giving you this, and you're gonna pay it back once you make your sales. So we just keep getting draw. My sales, because I'm not the greatest, are barely canceling it out, if that. At one point, I had owed them money. I was like, oh, I got to make more sales. So there's other people that are making consistent sales, the Savage and the other people that he was partnering up with at first. And then so he had messaged me like, hey, do you want to like go out or whatever? Which was great, because I learned a lot. Everything happens for a reason. Like, he believed in God. I believe in God. I felt like, that was something there. Before I tell you the check, there was a time where we were in the office, and they wanted us to kind of like show. They kind of pick certain people, like, go up there and show us how you approach the door. We're gonna have a little like, what do you call it, scenario, skit, whatever. So after learning from the Savage, I did what I did, and I acted like this was. I acted way better. I'm sure if you ask him, he would say yes, this is true. I acted way better than I would do at the door that he had been training me at. So I felt like the pressure was on. So I was like, all right, let me try to be as calm as I can, not stutter, seem natural. And it worked. Everyone clapped. And they had said, which made me mad because of what the Savage said after. They had said, like the salespeople, the leaders or whatever, it's like, yo, Chris gave the best, one that was so great. He did this. And I knew the Savage was way better than me, but he never applied himself. He didn't want to go up there because he's like, he said, I'm not going to give him all my gems, because he would drop gems when I would talk to him. He would drop gems. And he literally said, he's like, you have no excuse now to knock them doors or whatever, or tell me you're not good enough because of what they said. You were the best. You gave the best one up there. I was like, fuck. So he pushed me even more. Like when we would go out, I'd be knocking doors and he'd be driving. Sometimes we'd be in my car, sometimes we'd be in his car, and we just park. And he's like, okay, we're going to drive. He'd follow me down the road and I'd just be knocking because he wanted me to get better. So he pushed me for real. Which is why I respect that dude. But man, not getting paid, just kept getting pushed back. There was a point where he had asked me, like, you think that was for show? Oh no, I told him I thought it was for show when he asked me, what do you think of that? The New York dude, when I had went on one of his, like shadowing him, I wasn't even shadowing him at this point. We were working together. It was me, him, and another dude, which I can't say his name, but this dude was like an MMA fighter, which was cool as fuck. And his mom was cool because she had worked at the office in the company. And he had the coolest name. I wish I could say it. I can't even bring that up. Oh, man. But the New Yorker had took us both on, and the building was a big building. It was a bowling alley. And the client that he was trying to get to sign after we did the free roof inspection, it took him a while to even allow the owner of the building to let us get on the roof so we can do the free roof inspection. He had been there back and forth for days. Like, all right, fuck, go up there. I mean, he wasn't disrespectful, but he's like, all right. And when I say the New Yorker, he knew, like, he kept it straight. He wasn't disrespectful. Got on that roof. It was fucked from hail damage. He knew the insurance immediately would be able to do most of the roof, if not the whole roof, because of how damaged it was. We were up there for hours because we wanted to get enough pictures for the insurance company. We got down. But again, he was on that guy back and forth to get on the roof. Like, so there's things where you just knock on the door, because we were doing residential and, what do they call it? Residential and like businesses areas. So these were businesses. He was going for the big fish. There was another worker, co-worker that would just go, he was a veteran, that would just go for like the churches, because he knew that whole community. And every year he would get one or two churches and be able to live off of that for the whole year, because the bigger it is and the certain type of material, the more you can get from the insurance, which pays you more of a commission. It was a whole thing. That's why I was upset with the 30, 45 days thing. Because I was like, y'all already gave us the information. So I'm pretty sure y'all know the timeline. So it getting pushed back and more, me and Mr. Savage just thought it was more and more fucked. So it got to a point where he finally got the check, the New Yorker, because he had signed the deal, and it came after months of us not getting paid. And they showed it. They present the sales leader, our boss, had presented it to the guy, and it was a check. Let's just say just under half of $100,000. So I don't get too specific. And he was, crying tears or whatever, because he came out to support his buddy to do this, and his buddy was happy to present that check for him. That was the biggest check that we had saw anybody get in terms of me being hired at that time, and the Savage being hired at that time, because we were both hired at the same time. And after we left, because they were saying thank you and everything like that. And no shade or anything. I was looking forward to it, but no shade or anything. When we were on that roof, and he was like, if or when I get the commission check for this, I'll give you each 1,000 your way. And me and the other dude was like, fuck yeah. It never happened. Again, no shade, I don't give a fuck. After we left, me and the Savage, he was like, what do you think about like the whole check thing? And I was like, I think it was for show. He's like, what do you mean? Like, you don't think they really gave him the money? I was like, no, they really gave him the money. You know, I was on the fucking roof with him. Like, all the work we put in and him going back and forth, arguing the dude. I mean, we weren't arguing, but talking the dude down because he was very reluctant, the owner of that building, for whatever reason. Like, he would go off, like when he had the conversation, he would go off topic the whole time. And I'm trying to be professional, but I'm sure I'm so stiff. And the other dude with me was the opposite of stiff. He was relaxed. He was doing whatever. Let me go get a drink at the bowling alley as we're inside talking. So I was still trying not to be stiff, but I was so stiff, trying to look calm, but I'm sure it didn't really help. And after he got the check, I was like, when I say for show, I mean, they're showing what could happen. You know what I mean? Like my stepdad had told me, like, you'll never get a job like that again. That's a dream job. Spoiler alert, I do get that job again. The one that I got fired from missing appointments, having the bipolar episode when I was videotaping myself taking the pill. I do get that job again in the next parts. You're gonna, I mean, not the very next parts, but in the future parts, you're gonna hear about that. Maybe the very next part, I don't know. But man, it goes to show, because my stepdad doesn't believe in God, that when you're really wrong, it could be really wrong, but when you're really right, sometimes it's like, why were you so right? You know what I mean? Like, it's not my fault. I give all the glory to God. You can blame God because God's the greatest. He makes no mistakes. So, but if you don't believe in God, I don't know who you gonna blame. That's my thing. It's funny as fuck. Oh, I gotta charge my phone. I might make it a little bit more for the end of this video. So the thing is, what's it called? I was telling him for a show. It could happen. Like, under $50,000 check presented. It could help his family. He was crying tears because he genuinely wanted it. He genuinely earned it. It was great. But they showed in front of everybody for our motivation, for us to work harder. See what you can do when you go and push. He went back and forth with the guy. He visited him multiple times. Sometimes you got to go the extra mile, and then you get a yes on a big bowling alley like that. Like, the whole project was like $700,000, and he had gotten that, you know, around 50K check. So I'm thinking that's great, but telling us, oh, 30 days, oh, 45 days, oh, 60 days, oh, so it's longer, like, and then you're gonna show this. It was such a polarizing, like, we're so frustrated, but you're gonna show us something so great. You know what I mean? That's why I was like, it was for show. They were trying to take the focus off of our frustrations and what we've been complaining about behind the scenes, and display this on the center stage and be like, hey, it could happen for you type shit. You know what I mean? Like, and the Savage was like, okay. We didn't get detailed into it. I just told him my thoughts, and he was like, okay. And we just probably went off to make another sale or whatever. Yeah, man, that job was annoying because it got to a point where I did get kicked out. And before I got kicked out, I had an argument. I wouldn't say a discussion. Well, on the cusp of an argument, a very strong discussion with my mom and my stepdad. Again, my mom was really silent on the couch. My stepdad was really doing the most of talking. And they were saying, you haven't gotten paid for this long, like blah, 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 blah. And I forgot like what was going on, but I was, you know, messing up because they wanted me to, you know, get right and everything like that. I didn't get caught smoking weed this time yet. I'm about to and get kicked out, but he was saying, which was strange because he never really like was the type of person in my life to kind of like chastise me like that in this way, especially in front of my mom at this point in time. And he was really doing it. We were all sitting down. I was, you know, at the dining room table, and they were in the living room, and we could see each other. And he had said something. He's like, you say, you know, you believe in God and everything like that, but God's not going to keep blessing you, or those blessings are going to stop if you keep acting. They're going to stop if you keep acting this way. And it was just like a recipe for like a fuck you moment of like, oh, hold up. Like I was like, hold up, stop right there. What the? Nobody. Like I literally started laughing a little bit, like Chuck, like nobody is going to tell me that God, the one who controls everything, he made me, he made you, he allows everything to happen the way he wants. No one's gonna tell me how God is gonna bless you, me, nobody, because only God knows. Like you, nobody. Like I literally, like it was hard. I was like thinking like the audacity, the nerve of someone who you don't even believe in God. You are an atheist. You're trying to use logic about God, but you don't even believe that He's real. I didn't say like every single thing like that, but I was like the nerve, the audacity type of shit. Like you're not gonna tell me that my God is gonna stop blessing me because of my behavior. So like, and he was just quiet, looking at me like, because I'm sure at this point it was a lot of this going on, but like it was a lot of disrespect, bro. I was like, you don't know me, you definitely don't know God, and you don't know me and my relationship with God. So that's strike three. You really fucked up. And this is the same person that said you're never gonna get that job again, and I actually do get it later. Like, bruh. So I go out that night, and a person had invited me out, a mutual coworker, and I'm driving probably 40 minutes, and I'm upset. I'm thinking like, man, I gotta find another job because that just pissed me off, and like they've been at me like, when you gonna get paid? When you get paid? You still haven't gotten like a commission check. You're still getting draw, whatever. It's barely allowing you to pay your car and phone bill and everything. I was like, yeah, you're right, you're right. So I'm out, go to the house of a coworker. Him and his girl were working with us together. She was one of the only like female salespersons or salespeople there. And I didn't know they smoked weed, but I'm getting there. I'm kind of like sad and stuff. And he's offering me weed. And I'm thinking like, man, should I even take it, bro? I'm thinking this. And I'm thinking I probably should leave and just be like, man, fuck. Because I'm trying to calm down, but I don't know how to calm down. Because normally I just smoke weed and I'm trying to listen to music and have a good time. And I'm telling him, I've been going through or whatever, but, everything happens for a reason. And he's like smiling, and he lifts up like his sleeve and shows me like his tattoo on his forearm that says everything happens for a reason. And I just immediately, like, I'm shocked. I instantly calmed down. I was like, bro, like, I'm here for a fucking reason. He's telling me about him and how he used to be in the Marines and everything like that. And shit, I was like, fuck it, let me smoke some weed. Like, I think it's good. And then he's like, all right, you want to like go on YouTube? Like, he had a big ass flat screen TV with a great like speaker system. And I was like, bro, like I can go on YouTube, play music right now. I was like, yeah. He was such a friendly dude. I was like I'm high and I get to listen to my God. Like, I was on one, bro. So, I can't wait to say things in future parts. Goddamn. So I was able to play Pusha T, and I played like a bunch of his songs. I was happy, calm, and excited. He's like, all right, like, because we had started, it was his house, him and his woman's house, and other guests started coming in. He's like, all right, like, let some other people like have a turn at the music. No, he didn't say that before they came. He's like, all right, but when people come in, you can't just play like what you want to play, all right? I was like, yeah, for sure, for sure. So he starts playing music, and we go back and forth. I think I probably went to his house maybe like one or two more times after that, and he's playing some music, and we get like other coworkers that come, and most of them like aren't really smoking weed. Some of them are drinking or whatever, and we're all eating and stuff. I might have ordered like some McDonald's or whatever at the time, but we're having a good time. And I stay the night. He let me stay the night. Great dude. And his roommate's there. I don't know if it was this had to be this night. He was like freestyling. His roommate was freestyling. They were trying to get me to freestyle, and I was like, I don't rap, I don't freestyle, I don't do nothing like that. Like, come on. They kept trying me to get it, and they're picking beats, and I was like, oh, I want you to try rap over this beat. It was like a Young and May beat, the song Big, because that song was like popping at the time for me, because I'm a huge Young and May fan, and I was like, oh, I would love to hear it. And they're like, they weren't really trying to rap over it, so they picked another one. I was like, I would have loved to hear that. So like they're rapping, and I'm kind of like the hype man. I'm going like bars, doing my thing because I thought like the guest there, I felt like his rap ability was great, and his roommate's rap ability was great. So I was with it. I was all for it. This part's almost over, but I made it.